Fine, let me fix her, okay?
Thanks, Daddy.
I just got my first daddy. Oh, what?
You suck! Want some of that? Hey, honey, can I help you with anything?
No.
So, this film right here had me all over the place. What do I mean? Stay tuned in and find out. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in to my opinion/review for Instant Family. I really do appreciate it. So this film right here is something that I wanted to see, but it wasn't anything that I was excited about. I think I've never even seen a trailer before I saw it. I think I saw like half of a trailer and I was like, okay, Mark Wahlberg is in this movie. I'm a big fan of Mark Wahlberg. It has to do with, you know, him adopting a family. You know, hey, I'll check it out. I will get on board. Now, this film is written and directed by Sean Anders. Sean Anders and Mark Wahlberg have worked together before on this film, of course. And also Daddy's Home that came out in 2015 or 14. And then part 2 came out in 2017, last year. And I thought both of those films were funny. Sean Anders also has a pretty nice filmography. If you look him up on IMDb and all the other films that he's directed, of course, the 2 that I just mentioned. He also did Sex Drive in 2008, which I thought was hilarious. I thought That's My Boy was hilarious. And he directed Horrible Bosses 2. Now, I'm a big fan of Horrible Bosses. That film was freaking hilarious to me, but Horrible Bosses 2 was a huge disappointment. So, you know, he has a pretty good track record. So, I'm pretty much looking forward to, well, I was looking forward to this movie, you know, because he was attached to it going in. It also stars Rose Byrne. You know, I mean, she's okay. She has a good range as far as her acting chops, as far as I'm concerned, especially in this movie. And then you look at her when she was in Bridesmaids, which came out a number of years ago, completely different role. But this film right here it's not based on a true story. It's inspired by a true story. So that means that the studio, the director probably took some liberties in telling this true story. But it actually is based on the director and writer, Sean Anders, his actual life. You know, he actually adopted a family, you know, when I looked some stuff up about him, and that's what inspired him to make this film. And I'm really glad that he decided to make it. Now, this is being described as a comedy drama. And that's, you know, that fits. I kind of want to say it's more of a drama than a comedy, because I mean it's a true mix of both. And usually, you know, it tailors to one side or the other. One way is more than the other, but no, this is like a true dramedy. I mean, there's some parts and times where I was laughing out loud, and there's some times where I was just like, man, that's some real ass material right here, and I'm very surprised about that. I mean, this film surprised the hell out of me, and of course, I'm going to get into all that and why. Now, initially, I really wasn't feeling the film when it first started out, because I mean, I was laughing, but then when the plot started to reveal itself, I was like, okay, why is this film so funny when it's, you know, having to do with such a serious topic of, you know, adopting children that are in foster care, whether they're 2 years old or 17 years old. I mean, that's a serious topic. I mean, you can have your jokes there, here and there, but at one point in time, I was just like, okay, I don't really feel like the director or the writer or whoever is taking this information seriously. And so, you know, I was kind of taken aback at first. But let me just talk about the characters real quick. Of course, we have Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne, which I just stated. I love their relationship in this film. They are a married couple, and they are older. They're not in their lower 20s. They're in their upper 30s, maybe even their lower 40s. I'm not entirely sure. Sorry about that. But I love their relationship. They're a great couple, and the reason why I really love their marriage is because they really did seem like they were friends, like best friends. And they always say, people always say, or successful married couples always say that you should always marry your best friend. And at times in this movie, it didn't even seem like they were married. It just seemed like they were friends, you know, like they just knew each other and just understood each other. And I don't know, like I really do respect that. I like how those characters was written into this film. And given the entire story of this picture, I just really feel that that's necessary. Now, something that really just surprised me about this film is also the way the writer-director Sean Anders was able to mix comedic moments and serious moments and this at the same time. I always say that can be very difficult. I mean, it's either hit or miss. I mean, there's no in between. There's no gray area. You're either going to land it or you're just going to crash and fall. And not only did he do that, 2 or 3 times, he did that throughout this whole film. I also liked about this film were the serious issues that were addressed, especially when it comes to adults and when they was having a talk at dinner. Because this film right here brought to the forefront a lot of things that I know that people think of but are just afraid to say. And the way they did this at a dinner table, it shined a light on it without being too crude and just shoving it down your throat. I mean, it was just kind of like, the perfect like spoon feed. Like, okay, I'm letting you know, here it comes. Oh, okay, you're a big boy, you big girl, you can do it. Because I mean, you just be honest with you. There are just a ton of things that that everybody talks about, thinks about, but they don't talk about, or you talk about these things, in bed with your significant other doing pillow talk, but you would never repeat these things in public. And that's just true in general, but that's even truer when it comes to, children in foster care and things like that. And, growing a family, having a blended family or a mixed race family or multiracial family or whatever. You get my idea. You get my point. They really did hammer a lot of things on the head. And I was just like really surprised about it. Because this film also will change your perspective. It changed mine, especially when it has to do with like foster care and things like that. So many people have these stereotypes in their mind and these preconceived notions of what it would really be like to, adopt a child, whether they're young or old. And it can be embarrassing the way people talk about it in the real world. But like I said, like 17 times by now, I really just like the way that this film addressed it. I love the pacing in this film as well as the editing. There was a good 2 or 3 montages in this film that really did a great job with the transition of time and just kind of going from scene to scene. The editing was just freaking fantastic. Also, it just was. Also, what really impressed me, and I'm very shocked about this, is how this film dealt with race. There was a lot of race in this film, and this film could have succeeded, in my opinion, with not even bringing it up at all. But no, that's just another thing that this film put on the forefront. It talked about black people. It talked about white people. It talked about Hispanic people. It talked about stereotypes and things like that. And there was a lot of jokes. And to be honest with you, one of the jokes did offend me a little bit when it had to do with black people and the stereotype. And you can kind of consider it a more of a compliment or a positive stereotype. But for some reason, I just was not feeling it in this movie. And it kind of made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. And I'm kind of on the fence right now trying to determine if I am being sensitive or not, because I've never felt this way in a movie before. And this character, it was, if I don't want to spoil it for you, it's just that important for me for you to experience it yourself. But there is a character in this movie by the name of October. She is a white woman. And don't freak out just because I'm saying a white woman. Don't be so fragile. I put extra emphasis on saying that she's a white woman, given the context of the film and her character and the way they were trying to make these jokes centered around her character. I mean, I didn't like it. I don't necessarily want to blame the writer or director because, I mean, I could blame him, but I think it was innocent. I don't think that he was trying to be mean, crude, or malicious. Because the thing is, you had these stereotypes about everybody, and this film was kind of making jokes about everybody. And that was making me think about Family Guy, the show Family Guy. I don't know if I want to say I'm a big fan anymore because I just stopped watching the show I don't know why. I guess I just got too busy. I still find it funny. But the show Family Guy, is one of the boldest, stereotypical shows out there. They make fun of everybody. And I guess that's why it's okay. Because if you make fun of everyone, I mean, I guess it can all be and just fun and games and, shits and giggles. The show Family Guy even makes fun of itself. And I'm trying to make my point here. Like, I remember there was one episode to where I think it was a bunch of foster kids in Family Guy around Christmas time. And you had like a black boy, a white boy, a red boy, a brown boy, yellow boy, whatever. You had every race that you can think of or whatever, every race on the planet. and they were going around trying to determine, you know, what race is Santa Claus. And the black, somebody was like, you know, Santa Claus cannot be black because we do not fear him. Now, when I first heard that joke, it was around 2004, 2005, which was a long time ago. I was much younger. I didn't have as much knowledge and wisdom, and I'm not as mature then as I am now. That joke was funny to me then, and that joke is still funny to me today. But for some reason, the joke in this movie that had the stereotype with black people, that kind of did just kind of rub me the wrong way. I saw so many things in this film that I can relate to when it comes to me, myself, my parents. I saw my mom in this movie. I saw my dad in this movie. I saw my brother in this movie. I saw my cousins and aunts and uncles, my family and friends. I saw a representation of a number of people that I know in this movie, and I loved it. And at the same time, I mean, like, I'm so excited for everybody to see this film, especially parents. I don't have any kids, and I'm not trying to just stunt like I know what to do if a kid acts a certain way. But it was very entertaining to see these fresh parents, you know, bringing in a 15-year-old, like an 8-year-old, and like a 4-year-old into their home and having no experience whatsoever. I mean, it was hilarious, but at the same time, I think they did a great job too, you know. And so that's just another testament of just really how much I love this film. And I'm really excited with because when I'm watching this, when I'm watching the film, I'm just saying to myself like, ooh, if I had a child and they did that, I would whoop their butt. I would do this, I would do that. And then you see how, you know, Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne are trying to do that on film, and how they do it the right way and how they do it the wrong way. I mean, it's entertaining. It's a lot of laughs. And then, like I said before, in the middle of all these laughs, I mean, they do get serious too. I mean, not to where you're going to be crying or anything like that. Well, not me at least, but I was just sitting there like, damn, okay, like, this is some real ass shit right here. Like, for real, like, real talk. This is like pulling on my heartstrings. And then like a second later, they will make you laugh. So I just got to give it that. I want to make sure I cover everything. Oh, and just the characters in this movie are vast. Okay, there was one counselor, this white lady. She was so funny. She was like the female version of Ben Stein with all of her dry humor. She was very sarcastic, very facetious, and she landed her jokes perfectly. I mean, it's like she's been doing this for years. Of course, Octavia Spencer's in this film as well. And she was funny too, but just a different level of comedy. And then when you put her, Octavia Spencer, right next to the other lady that I was talking about with the dry humor, and then they're bouncing off of each other, one being black, one being white, just another way they can bounce off each other, and just kind of a visual representation of yin and yang and things like that. I don't know. I mean, it's just a very, very, very well put together film. Only other gripe that I have about the stereotype that I did not like about black people was towards the end, one of the main characters, Liz, the 15-year-old girl, she tried to emote and cry, and I just really wasn't convinced. I was like, oh, I actually did this in the movie, like, oh, I'm not convinced. You could have did a little bit better there. How did the other takes look when you were trying to, you know, cry and all that good stuff? But guys, this is a great film. It's a great cast. It's a great story. It has a great message. This film will wake you up. It will change your perspective in a good way. It's a lot of laughs. You will learn a lot. There's some things in this film that you can take into your personal life to apply to make your life even better. I mean, it's just a great film. It's one of the ones, one of the better films that I enjoyed this year, other than a few little nitpicks here and there. If I had to rate Instant Family out of a 1 out of 10, I will give this film an 8.5 out of 10. Yes, an 8.5 out of 10. But guys, that is just my opinion. Have you seen Instant Family, or do you want to see it? Have I turned you on? Have I turned you off? Do you agree with me, or do you disagree with me? Let me know down in the comment section below. Let's get this conversation going and keep it flowing. If you like this video, go ahead and give me the thumbs up. If you don't, that's fine, but you can still subscribe to my channel. You can also look me up on social media. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all that good stuff. It's right there at the bottom of your screen, and I made it very easy providing links to all that good stuff down in the description box below. But guys, I just want to thank you again for tuning in to my opinion/review for Instant Family. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion.